No, no key. Be hopping on live sometimes. That be my therapy. You feel me? I'm my own therapist. Sometimes I just be talking. It's just when I be talking out loud, I be meaning to record that. Like, when I'm just like really talking to myself, I be trying to record that. And I be trying to bring that same energy to this. But really, I chilled out once my videos started getting deleted. Not because I was scared. It's just I had to see something for myself. Like I started posting funny videos and shit, and I started getting more views. Like, so I was like, bro, it's no fucking way. You could put the same emoji on both of them, and one of them get a certain amount of views. Crazy. So I mean, I was just doing my own testing, evaluation, and hedging methods. But at the same time, I had to keep telling y'all where I think we at on this timeline because me, I don't really pay attention to time. Like this whole year has went away so quick. Like it was just New Year's. My memory, when I like actually look back and be like, when New Year's happened, that shit felt like it was a month ago. You feel me? Or like last week or some shit. And it's crazy. I feel like it was last week, knowing that last week was my New Year's. But like, even before that, like most of the time since the dimensions been changing on this planet, because the only reason I say the dimensions are changing because the ozone layer has layers to it, and I believe there's 12. I can't remember how many layers they taught us in school, but what my theories, I'm gonna just say is 12 because it seems like every year we step into a new dimension. And I noticed it was some shit that started 2017 because I saw some shit within myself that happened 2017. And as people was talking about total eclipse, I just thought it was gonna happen again. But knowing that we're back on like a solar type thing, it's like it's like that solar or lunar calendar niggas been trying to figure out. That's what I've been talking about. Low key, without saying it. So it's like I figured that out really off, but from off the memory I didn't remember. It was more you always remember memory. It just reflects differently. Like like the shit I couldn't like photographic memory, the shit I couldn't remember seeing. I guess it still had an energy frequency in the body dealing with my nervous system, and that deals with knowing. So like this stuff I couldn't remember photographic memory becomes intuition. Sorry for the clicking. Give me like 60 seconds. goodness. My car get to clicking, bruh. That shit really had you working on your piece, because it's really a frequency that I've been peeping. Now, I'm starting to hear a frequency with the click, and it's due to a heat actuator when you have a two-sided AC vent type thing. Like when one side could blow heat, another side could blow cold. And it's supposed to be attached to my door, but it seems like when I'm harnessing certain energy or got about to say some shit, it just clicks. Cause usually it's like a certain time it clicks. You feel me? So like, especially when you're just sitting down and shit. Anyways, getting back to the point. Like a lot of shit you see when you're out your body and shit like that. Most of y'all be out your body not even knowing y'all be out your body. So most of the time, the shit you don't see. Like I knew shit was cap because I heard somebody when I was a kid. It was like you dream 3 times in a row in one night, then you could die. And I'm sitting there like, what? Because I dreamed 3, 4 times, 3 different ones at one night when I was younger, and that shit ain't never happened. So after that, I started seeing shit. And then I remember laying back on my back one time with my legs hanging off the bed, and I drifted off. I guess I went to sleep, but I really didn't. And I came out my body, and I was looking down at myself from a top view. And since my perspective saw that as a fearful thing, I came back to my body instantly. But when I came back to my body, I couldn't move. So I learned most of the time when that sleep paralysis is happening, you just woke up in a time of you coming back to your body and you're giving your sensitivity back. I mean, you're getting your your nervous system starting to, get back intact. So that should let you know this body has something to do with harnessing the soul, right? And is capable of doing many things. I learned during fasting that when you fast through a cycle, you're actually going into a higher state every 3 months. There's 4 phases of a year representing 4 quarters. But just like how they divide with these 12 zodiacs, they express division. So now people pick up zodiacs and even express division to the point when you meet someone, you could be like, oh, you're a Gemini. And they'd be like, oh, I ain't fucking with y'all. Y'all crazy. Which whole time, that nigga was probably, or he or she was probably the best fit for you, and you didn't even know just because of a given perspective. I mean, most of the time it's not wrong. It's just inside. If you peep a Gemini symbol and you see the reflection of what is reflecting, is telling you that this symbol connects above and below, dealing with two parallels that's not crossing. You feel me? Because that's what happens in a pole shift. It goes into like the Gemini symbol. And that changes up the air, dealing with the poles and Aquarius, which makes like an energy grid type thing. Or, let me see. Or it makes something like this. You see what I mean? Now this shit going off. It ain't even been that long. That's what I'm saying, bro. This shit pick up on frequencies. And if y'all motherfuckers trying to like tune into me with my car, y'all being watched. I know about these Namacars, bro. They can't touch me. All right, now that that's off. All right, so back to the division part dealing with these signs, you feel me? Because you got these four phases, right? And these four phases are these dates I've been giving you. I call it the dates of the Ezekiel wheel because these dates are just measurements or like checkpoints for energy. It's a measurement of energy when you're talking about time. And what we're going through right now is quantum jumps. I don't know how I'm the one explaining this to you, but since 2020, I've been seeing that I'm one of them to be talking about this shit, and I don't mind explaining it because I'm seeing that I actually get it. It threw me the fuck off, so I know most of y'all ain't gonna really, you know, not yet, but very soon. But getting back to what I was saying, you got 12 zodiacs, right? Them 12 signs deals with four elements that deals with the sun, pretty much, and the moon. The moon is the backside of the sun. Get that out the way. And if you don't really understand what I mean by that, you look at the moon and what's around the sun. So whatever's around the moon is going to be around the sun. So when you seeing these objects, it's because of the dimensional energy now we're being exposed to. So niggas is starting to see three objects around the sun, right? That's because six stars or planets or however the fuck you want to call it, satellites, whatever, dwarfs, they're lining up with the sun, and it's denoting a higher energy. Really, it's already 12, but how it's happening, it seems like it's happening in an inside, so it might it might tie down to some satellites. But beep game. Alright, so the 12, right? You have four elements. You have three elements for each you got three signs for each element. And there's four elements dealing with plasma, right? Because when you're activating all of these elements, is activating from the root plasma and above plasma, the crown plasma, which is the sun, the UV, the ultraviolet, which is in Greek called delta, the pyramid, the symbol. That had meaning because the Greek and the Hebrew alphabet chart matches up with numerology and the cycle of the alphabetic system dealing with A and B of the brain. It's the 369. So the 369 shit was always the study of your genetics, because to understand this energy, you have to understand us, because our nervous system is connected to nature. It's the output to our input. So when they're interacting with nature, they're really interacting with us. The only reason they was able to fuck with the frequency on the planet in the first place. Okay? It's really terrorism at the end of the day. But a lot of people still gave consent to them. Which goes back to the unum, dealing with the moon, manipulation, dealing with the currency, the money. You feel me? All of it ties back to the same shit. You feel me? And I'm tired of it. But getting back to this point, I don't really give a fuck now that I'm saying what it is. It's just still gotta attempt. You feel me? I still gotta attempt, you know? I don't give a fuck what comes with it. Actually, I do, but I know that I'll be alright. So, that being said, this 12 is a 3. So, there's no number greater than 9. But getting back to the cycle, the only way you get to a 12 counting by trinities to a 3, 6, 9 is with an extra 3. So, that 12 is also a 4, right? So, that 12 has 4 quarters just like a whole dollar does, dealing with currency. God damn it, where's my lighter? So, you're dealing with this currency on this grid, left and right of the grid, A and B of the brain. You're dealing with your inputs and your outputs. So, one thing I peep, like, say the avatar. Your avatars that came that was saving everybody from different tribes, they were like the gods pretty much. But the thing was, they was mastering the elements. So, something I've been seeing with the zodiacs and actually fasting and shit, I started peeping what the elements start to do. But when it's being expressed in certain ways, like before I even started looking into astrology and shit, it used to be like little ads on Facebook or something, or maybe like Google or Yahoo or something, and it make you want to click on it just to see your horoscope. And you will read what it says going with that. Bruh, if I put a whole nother sign on this and someone else reads it, they're still gonna most likely resonate. So, as I started seeing that, I started realizing a lot of signs act like other signs. Really, it's not even signs act like other signs. You just see the same shit in other people. So it's like people reflecting each other. But the thing is, it's like, I feel like everybody is like a reflection of each sign, or each element at least. You feel me? Because those 3 elements represents one sign. That's a trinity of that one sign. So if you put all those trinities together, that means you will have 4 trinities, which equals that 12. Well, if you put those 4 triangles together, it represents a whole light. I mean, a whole circle. But in my eyes, a circle represents an aura, not really like, you know, like, I feel like a circle comes from other geometrical shapes, which is kind of like how the sun spots move around the globe. Like, if you pay attention to solar news, it hits these certain degrees of these certain sunspots. I had them written down because now they come up a little different. I started peeping that shit too. A lot of stuff you might look up, that's just because a lot of people dropping stuff. So it's like, but yeah, anyways. It's like the, so really, you're supposed to master all 4 elements under the sun because all the elements deal with the plasma, right? Which activates the blood, and you're also low key dealing with metals, but that's still like a earth type thing. So really, it's really at the 6. and then it's like a reflection of that shit. So like, I'm trying to like stay on point, and I'm not right now. And I said this shit before, but all right. So the four, right? The four represents the Zen, but it can. But the thing about this shit, they always make a negative perspective and a positive perspective, and then the negative, how people think of negative, really negatives is like electrons. So it's like really like when you're saying negative thoughts and like they gave a perspective, a negative thought is like some low vibrational shit. But anyways, I'm just saying like it's just too much, bro. Alright, so each element needs to be like perfected. And throughout them 12, it's different expressions individually being expressed of a whole energy. Just like a trinity is talking about like the Holy Trinity, but they mention three different things. That's not the point. It's talking about energy at the end of the day and how them points come together. You feel me? Like, so talking on a trinity base or 1 through 12, because the carbon 12 has to activate. But if it was carbon 12 energy just hitting right now, niggas would be fucked. So it has to go like this. You feel me? And I've been peeping. It goes into a higher dimension every year. So yes, we going through the sixth ether cycle. For some reason, in my eyes, I think it's been interrupted to a certain extent. But that had to bring me back to like this shit can get really confusing if you let it. It's just that's why it's like you can't really listen too hard to what I'm saying, but just pick up off of what I'm saying. Cause I could say right now is January and April is until July type shit. You feel me? Cause really that's the timing I'm kind of going off. No, that is the timing I've been going off of. Cause that 10, 11, 12 of the year is a 1, 2, 3 anyway, so that repeats. So that's when it's a cycle within a cycle within a cycle. But it's all dealing with trinities. So everything works in trinities. So you have your 3, 6, 9, but that 12 is the fourth trinity to complete the wholeness. Because you need a rebirth of the 9 so it can denote itself. It needs that trinity to denote into a higher state. Other than that, the loop will just like loop. So as it's going into a higher state, we're going into a higher state. And when you're physically dealing with your body, physically dealing with these elements, that's when it's dealing with your fasting because that's what you're going to use to unlock. You're going to use what fire does. You're going to use what water does. You're going to use what Kai does. You're going to use what air does. You feel me? While you're dealing with this plasma from above and below. Okay? For the ones that's fasting, if your genetics matches what you're eating in your fast, then you need to realize then that's not fasting. That is you eating what you're supposed to be eating, and it's going to allow your body to heal. But you're fasting because you're cutting away the shit that does not serve you anymore. Okay? And that being said, stay down, rise up. Okay? But there's just a lot of division. That's what the whole 12 is about. A and B. When that A and B is not working together, when that perspective does not match the soul, it's a discordance. It becomes like a split. Okay? Now, when that 1 and 2 comes together, that represents a trinity. Because when A and B comes together, it denotes C, which is gamma, which the gamma stands for like third eye energy and above. Actually dealing with higher realms in my eyes. Because when you wake up, sometimes you're still in the gamma state. Like me, don't wake me up while I'm asleep, bro. Or resting, I mean. A lot of times I could wake up happy, but I really be on my body. So I wouldn't do that shit. Especially, it's always another motherfucker. Shit. We going into a higher state. Motherfuckers been talking about that demon syndrome. Y'all been seeing that demon syndrome shit? Mm-mm. It's not a coincidence. It kinda is because it low-key goes with the timeline. That's the thing. Like, the timeline is the automated system, but the automated system is literally a replica of the universal system. It just works differently. That's why they're running out of time, because there's more energy hidden. And they pick up on that energy as a frequency, and that frequency of hertz is like a year to them. So it speeds up. So a lot of this AI shit gonna start dropping in like the next four 4 years, really like 2, but completely 4. Um, Going into like the little Clone Wars type of years, it's gonna be revealed in like 2027 type shit. Even though the setting is gonna be like the year 3000, that's because niggas is time jumping for real, in real time, just because of the energy that's being exposed. Like, that was the whole point of alignments and frequencies dealing with the options for some shit like this. It deals with pyramid type energy. Pyramid type energy is how the planet works, period. It's a reflection of how the planet works. How the planet is a reflection of your DNA or your DEA. Okay? That's how the DEATH star or moon manipulation has been a manipulation of your DEA. The double electrode applicator dealing with your brain. Okay, it's pretty much like we plugged up already, like in a metaverse game. You feel me? Like, that's kind of like how the Matrix was. The niggas was like metaverse and shit, but actually changing reality. You feel me? It wasn't a fucking game. And niggas, what they trying to do, make it seem like more of a reality. So the thing is, niggas been here before already. And this timeline goes through 3,600 years, of course, dealing with Nibiru, right? So that's just dealing with the timeline of the fuckery. I mean, yeah, the fuckery on, you know, when niggas put the spell on us and shit. So as the physical veil is breaking, the ozone layer, um, that shit's breaking down too, right? It's breaking down that loop. The same shit happening pretty much every 9 years. Uh, really 12. Going back to 10 times of it happening, that's 120 years. The angstrom, that could be 120,000, 12,000, 12 million, all types of shit. All of you peep the prefixes, milli is small. So, so getting back to the point, uh, yeah, it's pretty much like a metaverse, and everything's a reflection of your DNA, just like how it is in a dream. Um, these bots and shit, they pick up on the frequencies too, but their frequency is more on an automated system type thing. So yeah, they can know A through Z, dealing with the timeline, since it's like tapping into the Akashic Records type shit. It's just certain things they can't do because they're not natural still. Okay, certain shit, even if they were to try, they'd probably like blow up or some shit. So, like, I would try to teach a fuck nigga that shit. But whole time, a robot might actually be able to learn magic just because it can speak. But that would be some whole crazy shit if they did that shit. That would be bad. And that would be dealing with that motherfucker picking up consciousness. But that's what I be saying, bro. Like, just for me to even say that, that's how I know that shit worked. Because why the fuck would it be a timeline but niggas actually can see the future and shit and behind? And definitely feel like we've been here in different scenes or different scenarios. Really the same damn scenario. We've been here before. So it's just like, it's a motherfucking dream but niggas in a coma trying to wake up. Like I've been saying, like I ain't really want to express this type of shit to y'all, but like that's how I feel, bro. Like I feel like at one point in time, them talking dimensionally wise, like quantum jumping wise, niggas fucked around, took the jab, and it's like I feel like if you die, bro, and you know how movies they got them. This nigga goes to a whole nother place or a whole nother realm and get to talking to somebody or just start seeing something you should have realized. Then go back to the body. Whole time that is healing, you know? Once once self-realize something that actually is only normal or like so-called dead, I feel like what will bring you back is loving things and a reason or a purpose to be here type shit. Especially when you see that you know it. Because a lot of things gonna go against you so you wouldn't see it. Right? It makes a lot of people want to die. But it's like, death is an illusion anyways, because you're not the flesh. But you also need to be in the right consciousness. So this consciousness remember where to go. Because you have a suit that could, you being not, you being who you are, you could leave this room if you wanted to. I mean, it's different dimensions in this room, but it's higher shit. There's even motherfuckers who's on a frequency that interrupt yours. They be right there at 5D. You feel me? Enoch even said it. He was expressing 5D. So this six ether settlement, so it's changing the air and is denoting it on a ground state on a complete level. You feel me? So it's settled by the end of this month. Okay. That's why people are seeing a lot of shifting when they look at people. It deals with the six ether genetics. Okay. I can't tell you too much about six ether genetics, unless dealing with hair or something. But like, I know it deals with the six chromosome, um, and I know it deals with the shift, a motherfucker shifting. The six is also representing two trinities being formed. So that's when you get your triangle down, triangle up, put together. That's the Star of David, which really represents 369 and the lands. Like all those points is really lands. All this shit is dealing with a cycle. Like everything deals with a cycle within a cycle. Just like the water, Pisces is like a cycle in the seas, and Cancer is a cycle in the air, the 6-9 cycle. So when you look at your news and you start seeing them eyes and shit like that, that's dealing with the 6 and the 9 cycle. And how they go with the waves, with the parallels on the ground state. It's so above, so below, you in between, so the same thing's happening within you and outside of you. It's the same reflection. So when it's coming to certain energy, there's no division. It's just expression so you can learn. Because when you see everything together like a picture, now you see it for what it is. Now you don't really have to think when you do. You just do. Just like walking in your shoes. You feel me? Like, just pure intuition. You remembered how to walk. Now you don't have to think about how you walk unless you're trying to like change the style of how you walk. But you just walking. You're not really thinking about walking. Like left, right. You're not. You're just doing. Even if you slip, you catch yourself some perfectly sometimes or something like that. Even if you fall, that builds memory. So your reflex picks up on what to do next. Or if it happens again. So it's like these energies within you need to come together. They need a repair. I guess they're repairing regardless, but this air isn't really going to deal with a lot of that shit. Because it's still mutating whatever is in your body. Yes, the sun is a germ detoxifier, but if you're not maxing energy while it's cleaning out your shit and it's still reproducing cells, you're going to have these certain proteins attached, or spike proteins attached to your natural cells while it's reproducing. And those proteins is just meant for blockages. When you have blockages, when reproduction is trying to flow, it fucks up the current, comes to short, now it's a dead charge. So what do you have to do? Clean off the dams, open the dams up, your sodium channels, so you can get a current flowing. That's why they don't want niggas on blood thinners, because that's gonna create a current. Shit with a little jibbity jab That shit's weird. Like, you can't take no blood thinners, nigga. Really, if you wanted to lower cholesterol, you would want to thin out your blood because when you have high cholesterol, it's clogged up more fat and all types of shit, toxins. So, if you can't take a blood thinner with it, then what is it doing? Because all you really needed was garlic and into whatever that painkiller, the same shit I forgot down, acetylene, whatever, garlic, acetylene, and probably that stuff Trump said, the hydroloxine, whatever. That shit probably would have worked. But I know that garlic and shit definitely would have worked. At the end of the day, there's moon little critters. They're like luminous little beings. They look like little ticks. They're small as fuck, called water bears. But you can see it when it's really cloudy and there's not like too much sun out. Just look at stuff that's been sitting outside for a little bit. I started seeing that shit on my tires and shit. I was like, hold up, buddy. Like, you really gotta watch that shit because it be floating in the air. Like, they first got it from, I ain't gonna say first, but I was reading something about an Israeli spaceship that went up. I guess that was the name. Uh, that shit, and Israel being Satan at the end of the day, so I already knew that was sus. So when I looked into it, it was talking about lunar creatures. And I started learning about the water bears and the octopus and shit like that, dealing with the blue blood. So I used to call the clouds just like melanin type shit, or like the ink. Like a person who takes in too much of it, like of this cloud shit, it could cause damage. See? Like me, I've been eating ice cream all my ass. Shouldn't be eating ice cream. And like I have an ice cream problem. Like if I eat ice cream, that shit becomes a problem. So if you hear me like, that's why. Motherfucking chemtrails out. That's what I'm saying. You gotta watch that shit. And the right. The best way to cleanse that shit out real quick, stay hydrated. I like to drink fruit. Um, I don't like to completely juice it. You feel me? Like, I feel like if I'm gonna eat it, I'm not just gonna eat the juice. I'm gonna eat everything that's in it and leave the seed so I can plant it, type shit. So when you taking all the properties out and you juicing, you're not really getting the full effect as fast as you really want to. But I mean, you could take a little scoop out, but it's still good to keep that in there. Just stir it up. Like when you let it cool, it's gonna split either way. You know, take some of them bubbles out and stir the rest up, and keep doing it. Like make different colors. You feel me? And then mix some of them, but have your own different colors. Just consistently do that shit every week. It's really cheap, cheaper than eating other shit. But I mean, if you eat a lot of it, you be straight. Like I started eating beans and stuff and just making it the way it's so flavorful. You feel me? Like my refried beans, whatever. Them shits, you bussin'. Feel me? Too much flavor, all type of shit. So I mean, like potatoes, vegetables. Like it, it's really not that hard. It's just if you start, just keep going. Don't stop. Just keep going. Cause people will be losing it and then they gain it all back just because their metabolism didn't change while they were doing it because they didn't keep doing it. It's like you keep fasting, your metabolism goes back to like kid-like self, and from that point is what you do with your energy. From it's just why this energy is coming inside of this dome. It's like a manipulation. Either way, it's a manipulation. But when your energy is being manipulated, it can be manipulated against you, which is ain't right for me. A pure heart can connect the way they're supposed to where it's not a thought, it's just a doing. It's like your higher self is doing it. And then the replica is the MK Ultra. You feel me? So that's why you have to know thyself, because you can really open yourself up as a medium. And when you're dealing with the moon and shit, and you want to be grounding and looking at the sun, like those are satellites that's being manipulated by them. Like they use this energy for everything. It's our energy at the end of the day. But in our dream, that's how it's proposed. They use this energy for everything. So really just gotta see what you know and know what you see. Don't let nobody deceive you. Your soul always knows. It's the A through Z. Especially dealing with this genetic code, especially if you living right here today. It's all in your memory. If you want to know, ask yourself. If you want to do, ask yourself. Because there's other beings, but you're going to have to ask yourself first until you start picking up. Because your memory is going to help you pick up on these other beings that's around you. Because they're going to start fucking with you. A lot of shit that can interfere is just you. Especially, that's what I'm saying, watch what you eat. Because this food can become anxiety. So when these motherfuckers around you, your body's picking up on that frequency, but it's turning into anxiety. Your awareness is not being aware, it's turning into an emotion that needs to be detached. It gets attached when you consume and feed into it. You feel me? Shit gets deep. But that's how you know I ain't really been on this shit like that. But we gonna get back on it. I got interrupted by energy that I don't even know. But not saying that the entity's stronger than me, it's just when I peeped, I should have said something to you. So you could have had clarification on whatever was going on. So next time when you see me just saying random shit, just know. Shit not a game.